Can you hear me, David?
Yep.
Can everybody else hear me?
That's what we're hoping.
Let somebody respond here before we get started. Can everybody hear me all right?
It sounds like it, yep. Okay, yeah, I think that so far everything sounds pretty good. I'm going to try to bring these down, and then for anybody that is watching right now, let us know if you can hear audio levels all right, if everything is good, or if it's terrible. If it's terrible, if it's Jason, it's Jason's fault. If it's good, it's mine.
That's the way it always works. Everybody knows it's not true, but that's the way David likes to make it work.
All right, perfect. Yep, we should be good. All right, so Jason, you want to start the intro?
Yeah, so everyone, welcome to the 2024 U.S. Open here at Northbrook. Thank you very much to Kohler Arms for bringing you this broadcast, as well as all of our sponsors of the podcast, Elite Shotguns, Fiocchi USA, Atlas Traps, RE Ranger, Oda Pro Technologies, Don Grant, Vero Beach, Clay Shooting Sports, Rhino Chokes, and, of course, Score Chaser. We are joined right now to get things started by the young man that won the FETASC overall, Mr. Connor Daniel. What's up, Connor? Is his mic on, David?
Now it is.
Now it is. Well, you got to excuse our guy. Remember, it's my fault.
His fault. That was all his fault.
Right buttons over there.
Connor, congratulations. Well shot.
Yeah,
Thank you very
absolutely.
much. Yeah.
High overall on FETASC. Is FETASC becoming your game of choice now, or
I'm
what?
certainly shooting it better this year than anything else. I had a couple good tournaments.
Yeah. We talked last time we talked to you a little bit about your mount and that kind of thing. So obviously you've got this dialed by now, right? I mean, to win the FETASC at the U.S. Open is pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
Something you've been still working on, then?
I think I got my mount pretty down. I think I got it down to where I want it to be. I think mainly the reason I'm just doing so good is just practice. I practice FETASC a good bit because I know I'm better at it. I know I have a better chance of winning. So, yeah, I've been working on it a lot going into this event, and felt pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great. So tell us, you've had several major podiums this year. For our viewers, let us know which ones those were.
This year for FETASC, I think I won the American Grand Prix at Providence Hill, and I placed third in junior at the World FETASC a couple weeks ago, and I just won this.
So a world banner and now a U.S. Open win. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we drug Dad in here with us, Mr. Daniel. This has got to be a proud papa moment for you. Is it true we're cutting purse strings next year? Going to see how it does.
Yeah, we're going to have some conversations about that, about letting him enjoy the expense side of it as well as the benefit side,
Yeah,
as well
so-
as the income side.
So you better save those winnings, huh?
He's got it. He's got them saved. He doesn't spend any money. He's tight.
There you go.
That's fantastic. Well, it was great to visit with both of you before we got the podcast kicked off. So, Connor, back to the course. Was there a favorite parkour that you shot this weekend?
Favorite parkour? I think 2 and 3 were both really well, very hard targets. I think they were definitely the hardest. 4 and 1 I did really well on. I shot 50 straight on those, and I shot a pair of 21s on 2 and 3. I think there's definitely some interesting targets, some nice targets off the towers, some low quartering, and definitely tricky angles that are hard to get right every time.
Well, I was really impressed. Brett Seibert set the FETASC targets for the event, and it was neat that parkour 1 was on some ground that we'd never shot before. So it was really cool to see some different scenery. How did you fare on the towers? The big B midi tower.
I hit it.
Parkour 2.
I hit it late on my second shot on the singles, and I actually missed the pair. That was my last station, my last peg. And I knew the score I had to beat. I know I had to beat a 91, and I missed that pair, and I had a pretty tough pair after that. I was pretty nervous, but I ended up hitting it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Those were your last 4 birds?
That was, yeah.
And you shot 92?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very, very good.
Yeah.
But, not just the technicality of those birds, but to finish on there and That's fantastic. I wish I could have been able to watch that.
70 Shondell and
Yeah,
a yellow bird that was low and not well lit.
I think every bird on that peg was actually really challenging and easy to miss.
I would agree.
That makes it even sweeter to have edged out Anthony Matarese who posted a 91 and Corey Cruz who posted a 90. No slouches there on the podium. So Connor, congrats.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. So go back to the scenario there, and put yourself in the position of you got 2 pair left. You're sitting on 94, right? Or did you miss one in the last pair?
No, I was on 90. Yeah, 94.
94. Yeah, with 2 pair left. And you get that following pair off the tower like that. You go miss. Now 1 miss is a tie, 2 is a loss. Hitting them both is a win. That, as a competitor, that's my favorite position to be in. And talk to me a little bit about. I can speak English. Don't worry. A little bit about what's going through your head in that moment. How do you handle a situation like that?
Obviously, I was very nervous.
Right.
I definitely took my time an extra bit. I was trying to think back on my single. I missed the 70 Shondell on my first barrel and killed it on my second.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of what I did wrong and exactly what I needed to do to hit that target.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I just kind of took a deep breath, took my time a little bit, and I feel like I made 2 pretty good moves and I hit both targets. So
yeah, how many? If you had to guess, how many times that you've been in that position? Do you feel like there's something to be learned every time, or do you feel like it's kind of a rinse and repeat and you either fail or succeed in that moment?
I think, it's either fail or succeed. I've been in that situation probably 2 or 3 times. I know I have to beat that. It's pretty nerve-wracking, but I think every time you got to calm down. You got to know that you can hit both those targets. You know how to hit them, and you just got to do what you normally do.
Very good.
Well,
That's
hats
very
off
cool.
to you, because I'm someone that I just totally avoid looking at scores. I mean, that would make me, I would be a nervous wreck on the very first bird of the very first peg if I knew what I had to beat. And so, but no, that's awesome that you've learned to handle that pressure. Hey, Connor, real quick before we let you go, I know you have people that support you and sponsor you that you want to thank.
Yeah, of course. Beretta USA, Winchester Ammunition, White Flyer Targets, Clay Target Vision, Castellani USA, and Cole Gunsmithing.
And see, you forgot Dad.
Dad always helps me. Mom always helps me. They get me to shoot. Just my stock on Friday night before I shot the FTAS.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was shooting a little bit high. I've been growing a little bit, so my stock didn't fit as well, and he got it perfect.
Yeah. Well, Dad's got something to say here.
Yeah, by the way, he shot like low 80s percentile Thursday and Friday. And Friday night, we got his stock worked on Friday afternoon. Friday, he went and shot it a few minutes. Friday night, he said, "I'm going to win FTAS."
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, sure. And, I really didn't believe him. And then he did that. He did win. And so it goes kind of back to that question on that last pair, right? You have to believe in you have confidence. Confidence kind of comes and goes as you shoot and as you do well. It affects your confidence. You can't help that. But believing in yourself at the 10,000-foot view, knowing that you can hit that target, is part of your confidence, right?
Yeah.
And so he not only was able to do that from a terrible Thursday and Friday to go win FTAS on Saturday and Sunday, but he was able to do that in that last pair as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I told him, I said, if we could just do that after every station, we'd be in a good spot.
That really is, I think being in that moment is, in my personal opinion, infinitely more fun than after succeeding in that moment.
100%. Just the thrill of being able. It's like you either win or lose.
It's like you got 1 foot off and 1 foot on, and you can totally lose it, or you can make it happen.
Right.
And I think that that is literally the best feeling in the world. It really is. And
That's a feeling of being alive right there.
Yeah, it's honestly so much better to win like that than to not know the scores, put the winning score up, come back, and then realize that happened.
Right.
You know, because what it is a test of yourself. It's a test of, like your dad said, your belief in yourself, your belief in your ability, but also your ability to master your own thoughts and your own mind and understand how those things affect you and understand how the physiological change that happens in that moment, what that does to your ability to do what you need to do in that moment, and then how to handle that. And that's why I think this game is so much fun, because it's a continual test of your ability to do that. So that on top of winning that whole event, congratulations on doing that.
Well, you know, and I said something to your dad about a proud papa moment, but I'm sure you don't realize this now, and you will when you get older, how important it was that Dad was there when you won the feat task at the U.S. Open in 2024.
Of course.
I mean, that's a lifelong memory. And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, I've lost my dad a few years back, and it's stuff like this, the little victories along the way or big victories, doesn't matter. The fact that you both got to be there and do it was, at the same time, was awesome.
Yes,
so,
sir.
congratulations.
Roller coaster together as well, all the downs. I'm riding that with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, two more regionals this year and nationals. So we wish you all the best. Keep riding that high. Keep riding the high part of that,
Absolutely.
and look forward to seeing you at the rest of the championship
Right.
tour.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Congratulations.
family.
Thank you.
Connor, thanks, buddy. Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
Good job. I'd shake your hand, but
Seriously, man, awesome. Are we still up, Dave?
yep,
All right. Well, we're going to get the top three men's
you did good.
from the U.S. Open. Your champion, your runner-up, and your third place, or M1.
So those of you who haven't had a chance to jump on to Score Chaser, Mr. Anthony Matarese now holds the title for the most U.S. Opens.
Yeah, four.
Four.
4 U.S. Open.
No.
Go back to the top.
Nope.
Yeah.
Tied with Wendell and one behind John Kruger.
Oh, one behind Kruger, tied with Wendell. Fantastic. So Anthony finished the main with a 1.85. Joe Finizzi's making his way this way. Joe finished the main with a 1.81. And then we've got Todd Hitch already joining us. Todd started the day in the lead and finished with a 1.79. So you guys can grab that mic. In fact, Anthony, why don't you go ahead and take it first?
Yeah. Congratulations, first and foremost, man. Your fourth
Thank you.
U.S. Open.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's just start off real quick. Come on in here, Joe. Let's start off real quick, Ant. You've won this event 4 times. You're a national champion. You're a world champion. Compare this win to your other big wins. Where does it set? Or has it even set in yet?
I mean, look, every time I go out there, if it's a big championship, I give it 110%, you know. So, win or you lose, you know, you can only do your best. So, this one was important to me. The last couple years for me, I've shot well and been just close. You know, I've been shooting better and not won a big championship. I won the U.S. Open in 2021 by like 3 or 4 birds, and then 22 I tied, and I had some massive screw-ups on a couple stations, and I tied for HOA and lost in a shoot-off to Brandon.
Yeah.
Last year I was 4 birds off at the U.S. Open, and in that time frame, you know, at the national championship, I come second or third, and same thing, you know, close and screw something up.
Right.
So it was important for me, you know, just to, you know, it's hard to put in a lot of work, you know, and for as long as I've been doing it and, you know, come second and third after, you know, a year worth of work, you know,
Right.
it seems like it's a kind of bittersweet. So just 3 weeks ago at the World Feed Test, I went out on the last day, had the right mindset. I ran the first 46 birds straight, missed 2 out of the last 4, and lost by 1 bird. And it wasn't mental. I just had a big target. I missed it both times, you know. So it's a long journey to end on that result. So
Yeah.
I felt really good going into it. I felt good during the World Feed Test, and I practiced 1,000 shots between the World Feed Test and here. and kind of just worked on shooting a little bit of everything. And so not really any different than any of the other ones because I always give 110%. But given that I've been close a little bit in the last couple of years and not sealed the deal, it was good to step up on the top podium.
Yeah.
A question for Todd. Todd, I saw that on Winchester the other day, you ran the big tower that was there in the middle of that course. That was pretty awesome to see. And then you were the leader going into today. What did it feel like last night? How did you show up to the course this morning? And what was your mindset as you were shooting the main today?
It was good. So, I mean, running in that station on Winchester was a big confidence boost going in today. So I actually felt very good about going today. A little bit of nose at the beginning. It cost me a couple, got tight, but then I think I've really just got careful throughout the day and let too many easy ones slip by. So, but I did feel good. So a little disappointed. I mean, every time I feel good, it doesn't happen, but it's part of the game.
Yeah. Well shot. Great finish. Joe, for you, as y'all pass the mic over.
Yes, sir.
I followed you on the Super Squad today. Just wanted to see one of my good Texas buddies doing well, and I could never tell if you were happy or not happy, doing well or not doing well. Joe Finizzi was Joe Finizzi today.
Yes,
Tell us about shooting the main and keeping those misses under control and grinding to break the next pair.
Absolutely. So first of all, hats off to Northbrook. They did a really good job with the shoot. The Seibert family and their staff are as good as it gets for hosting an event like this. So it was a great week of shooting. All the best competitors from across the country were here, and it was just super exciting. Anytime you get a chance to duke it out against the best shooters in the country, especially with the Super Squad format, I think it's really cool. And this was a world-class set of birds. They were very challenging. Richard Folds came from overseas to set 3 courses that were certainly world-class, and you had to work for every single target. And regardless whether the course you're shooting is easy, hard, or medium, at least for me, and I think a lot of other competitors try to take a similar approach of just being even keel. When you get too emotional, and sometimes when you start to think with your heart instead of your head, it can kind of cost you later on in the round. So, whether I hit all the targets on a tough station or I miss a couple on an easy station, you try your absolute best to, just stay on the course and prepare for the next set of birds that's coming up, in the round. Sometimes it's easier said than done. It's easy to get frustrating. You can get frustrated out there very quickly. But yeah, I always just try to stay even keel, and I'll take that as a compliment. If you didn't know if I was hitting or not, that's a good deal for me.
Yeah, he had
that's how I want it to be.
He had the Joe Finizzi desk there, guys.
So you brought up Mr. Folds. I was able to speak with him, and I heard so many people compliment his targets, and they were maximum difficulty. Probably one of the, in my opinion, most enjoyable courses that I've shot because I love that challenging target. I would love to hear from each of you about
Absolutely. You want me to go
thoughts
first?
On the targets, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were really good. I love a challenging target. Anytime you really test the shooters with, the combo of speed, distance, and angle, it's very exciting for us. What I love about a challenging course is if, sometime at some point in the round you struggle or you don't do your best, you can make it up. It's not a missing out situation, which is why we love to shoot sporting clays rather than maybe a game like Skeet or Trap where you miss and you got to pack your bag. So that's why I always get very excited about shooting tough targets. Anthony ended up winning the shoot, and there was a couple times. Yesterday, we had the second station we had was very tough, but Anthony was down 4 birds, or about a third of the way through the course, and then ended up shooting a 62 right out of 64. So he ran the whole rest of the course, and even though he was down a couple more than he might have wanted to be at that point in the course, he was still able to battle back. I had something similar happen the very first day. I started real slow. I missed one on my first station, missed one on my second station. I think I missed a couple on my third, and then kind of got it together and battled through and finished on a 60 out of 66, which wasn't a terrible score. I think it was tied for the lead that day. So that's why I like challenging targets. Richard is as good as it gets, and Richard checks all the boxes because he's a great competitor himself. He's a phenomenal clay target shooter. He's won on every stage there is, but he's also a good target setter. He has a club back in England, so he just knows, what it's like from the shooter's perspective as well as a target setter. You just got to try to find the fine line where you don't beat people up too bad. If it was me and I think the rest of us, we want to shoot the toughest birds you can throw us. It's just fun, and
we like being challenged. So, yeah, it was a great week, 3 great courses.
Well, Anthony, add to your answer because, I've said it many times on the podcast. I took your target setting class, and I know that's something you take very seriously. So I'm sure without trying to do so, you were looking at his targets not only as a competitor but as a target setter. So give us both parts of that spectrum if you could.
Yeah, I mean, the targets, there was nothing missing. He tested you on everything. There wasn't any type of shot that I feel like was repetitive or that we saw too much, and there wasn't anything really missing. So as a test of the game, I thought it was an incredible test of the game. I thought it was really good. Pretty tough, the tower on Winchester. I never touched it. A couple good shooters never touched it. But it's there to be hit. Todd ran it, so that can change the result, so if he won by 1 and he hit 3 there and I hit 0, so you can make a valid argument that has a place in the game, right? The true pair of Batus on CTV.
Yeah, that was tough.
Massive pair. Got to kill the first bird pretty damn early to be able to have a good second shot with a giant lead on the first bird with not a ton of time to really get there. If you shot the pair conservatively, you really don't have a
second shot.
You don't have a chance of shooting anything more than a 3. Yeah. But that was really the only pair that they gave you out of 36 pairs that you were forced to do that, right? Is there a few people out there shooting that maybe aren't quite quick enough to get there, whether it's their reflexes or their age? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay.
There were plenty of zeros on the master
I'm sure
sheet.
there's someone there that thought that pair was unfair. Depending on your reflexes and your eyesight, potentially they have a valid argument.
Yeah. At the time, I was following Dominic Grassi there, and I watched him run it.
I shot a 5 out of 6. But again, in the championship, just like the tower that Todd hit all 3 of the tough towers, and I never touched it. On that stand today, I killed a 5, and Todd missed a couple.
Yeah.
So that's what changes the game. So in terms of deciding a championship, there's a valid argument for it had a place in what we were doing out there today. So it's a very difficult job as a target setter to get the course where every single person that happens to go through thinks it's the best.
I really
thinks it's the best for them. So we had the World Championship at my range. At the end of the day, the scores were fairly low. I set the targets that I wanted to set to challenge the shooters. Did someone probably think it was too hard? I'm sure, right?
There's always something.
But it's the U.S. Open, it's the World Championship. It's just finding that balance is difficult, and I don't think anyone ever gets it perfect every time, but I thoroughly enjoyed the birds and thought it was as good a set of targets I ever shot.
As you pass it to Todd, I've heard you say that before, and I think that's something that all clay shooters need to remember. Like, just because you didn't hit it, but is it a valid test of your clay shooting prowess, and it doesn't have a place in the game? And when somebody's disappointed that they got out of a station with a 0, or maybe they never touched the A or the B bird. If it belongs, it belongs, and that's how you determine a champion.
Todd, what about you? Is this the first time you shot Richard Folt's targets?
No, the first time I shot was actually in 2018 at Full City Gun Club.
Okay.
Because I remember he had a very distinct style. It was the first time I shot English-style targets.
You shot in the Hurricane.
Yes, the Hurricane shoot, And so I kind of recognize the biggest thing he sets that a lot of American targets says he'll make you have like 180 degree.
Yeah, a lot of gun movement.
Shooting straight right, shoot straight left. And then he put us in position this week where I personally felt like I about hit my gun barrel on a tree. You're clear, but I've seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
So Todd, you're so smooth and methodical when we watch you shoot, but you just mentioned wild gun swings, maybe even sometimes taking a step inside the cage. How did you attack those birds?
On most of them, he set us up where you could kind of set up for the second shot, shoot the first one out of position if you made the correct move on it. The biggest thing on those was I felt like getting your eye to the second bird and seeing it first before you moved over. I missed 2 or 1 on each of those stations both the times I missed it, I feel like I never looked over. I stayed with my gun as I transitioned from the first to the second, but because it was such a big movement.
Yeah.
So we've mentioned the tower on Winchester several times. You drop 2 shells in the gun and close it. What do you think right before you call pull?
Yeah, so on that station, that was one of the ones that I feel like I read the bird perfectly when I saw it. I was like, that was the station. I was like, I feel everything's clicking. But I also had so much confidence in that plan. I knew if I missed it, I have no clue and would have no way to find it. And thankfully, that first shot, I just found it perfectly. Punched it, then was able to duplicate it and stay aggressive on the shot on it.
That's fantastic. David, do you have any questions?
Oh, I mean, I got plenty of questions, but I can talk all day. But I'll have one for each of you guys. So, Todd, tell me a little bit about the transition for you, switching guns, and how, what seemed to click a little bit here, and, what kind of things were you working through, and, because with anything, when you switch guns, it should be expected, not because it's different, it feels different, you can't move so intuitively, and it seems obviously that it, may not have been the final round that you would have liked going into what it was, what you had, but, really anybody in the top 3 is a win, and it's just difference of luck and stuff like that. So tell me a little bit about that. What have you been working on to fine-tune a change, and what have you found that helped?
Yeah, so what I kind of did, I told myself when I was swapping new guns, I shoot with very little muzzle awareness. There's some shots I'll see significantly more on. So I've told myself it would probably take me about 8 to 12 months to get used to the gun, all the feel, the swing of it. I've gotten to shoot a lot this year, but not as much as I'd like to on particular targets. So after the World Fit Task, I was really unhappy with my performance. So I actually was able to be home for 18 days, and I was able to shoot about 2,500 shells in practice. And I set up machines on top of the Corey, which is kind of the same distance as the big tower, but in Winchester. Really pushing myself to getting the trust with the eyes, knowing the impact points exactly what I'm looking for. And the biggest thing is learning the feel and having the confidence. I've had a lot of unpositive feedback, negative feedback from me swapping, so I kind of had more of a mental battle than anything.
You could ask Anthony almost the same question.
Yeah, really, let's go to the same question. What about you, Anthony?
I swapped in February from the DT11 to the SL2. My transition was pretty quick. I don't really think there's any. I got to kind of duplicated my stock to be similar. I actually did make a slight modification just to my fit in general. The gun balances, though, exactly the same, and the weight's almost exactly the same. So I really didn't have much learning curve. My transition between the differences of guns is much less drastic, I would say, than Todd's in terms of the gun he was using versus the gun he switched to. Mine was not as different. I do love the gun I'm shooting. It's got a narrower action, and I shot a semi-auto for years, and I can see around the gun better with the gun I have now than the gun I was using. So almost within a month, it was a automatic positive for me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit different than Todd's.
Yeah. Well, Joe's starting a new MAGA campaign. It's Make Autos Great Again. So, I guess you can't ask Joe that question. So.
My other question for Anthony would be, I would say Anthony. Well, honestly, all of you guys, but I'm going to save this one for Anthony because he's been around longer than the two of you guys. But Anthony, I'd say like one of the defining qualities that I've always thought about you as a competitor is that you will continue to fight until you basically kill yourself out on the course. Which is you're just incredibly relentless. And to be honest, all of you guys sitting here are. That's why you're 1, 2, and 3. But a question I would have for you is like, as far as the mindset goes on targets, like the difficulty of birds and the stuff that we shot today, if you could kind of differentiate and kind of compartmentalize two different mindsets. One would be like you're going all in on every hand, on every station. The other one is that you're playing safe and trying to protect the lead and everything like that. On a hard course like we shot today, can you walk me through a little bit of what your mindset is?
Yeah, I mean, my mindset in general, I'll back all the way up. I think I can give you something more interesting. At the World Feet Test on my first layout, I shot a 21, and I started off nervous, shot a 21. Literally, I was sitting in the tent before I was going to shoot my next one, thinking like, why in the fuck am I even here? I have a lot of stuff that's important in my life, and 21 was not good. And
not to start off.
To your point of what you mentioned about me, I literally just went out there on the next one and was like, all right, just work as hard as I can to battle it out. And the way I felt at that point in time, a huge part of what I have to do is just look at the bird, okay? Because I was careful, doubting myself, nervous, all of the things that you can't do to do well or to win. And really the next 2 days at the World Feed Test, I kind of couldn't shake that feeling, and I kind of battled through those 2 days, and I kind of just really realized after the third day, and I did well, but again on the next 2 days, I would miss in the double, hit all the singles, miss in the double, and shoot 46 or 48, and people are like, oh, that's pretty good. I'm like, yeah, but I missed because I was afraid to miss, and going into the last day, I finally just convinced myself to, I knew I was behind. I knew I had to hit all the birds to have a chance at winning. And I finally convinced myself, to just go out there and shoot every bird and not worry about the result. And got, literally worked that evening to get my mind to be able to convince myself of that. And then I shot well. I missed 2 birds on my last peg and lost by 1, and I just missed them. I wasn't nervous.
Yeah, I know what bird it was.
It was a big bird. I missed
it's
it
a big
times.
bird.
And the only thing I practiced from then coming into here was some big targets because I missed 2 birds at the World Feed Test, both single and double, and I just didn't know what I did wrong. And I normally don't ever practice over 50 yards, 55 yards, hardly ever. And I went home and I shot 1,000 shots between the World Feed Test and here. And I probably shot 500 of those between 50 and 80 yards. And there's no question I was shooting behind them. I didn't really do anything wrong technically or visually. My library wasn't good enough for some of those birds. And definitely helped me here because we saw a few big birds, so it didn't hurt. But coming into this, asking I kind of carried that same mindset that I had from the last day that I said, all right, if I can get myself in that frame of mind, and I started working on it literally that Sunday when the tournament ended.
Yep.
If I can get myself in that mindset, because when I missed those last 2 birds and lost by 1 bird, I wasn't nervous. I did everything I was supposed to do, and I said if I can go out and shoot, at the U.S. Open like I shot today, I should hit most of the birds.
Yeah.
So coming into this, that was my mindset. As you get out there on some different stands, like for example, more specific to your question, the first day I made a bad decision on 2 stands in a row. Got a little aggressive on the true pair of green birds on Beretta and missed 2. And then I got to the next stand. I was shooting with Joe and Mike Wilgus. And my plan was to set my feet way to the left and not move my feet. And Mike Wilgus did that, and he missed the second bird every time. And I kind of I watched him, and he definitely didn't get his gun there because his foot position was there. And I watched Joe shoot it, and Joe moved his feet, and he ran it. And it just got me. I just started to think a little bit, And I got in the box, and I set my feet far to the left, and I came back to the right one, and I was like, I don't really have enough room.
Yeah.
So I changed my plan, and I moved my feet, and I missed 2 birds there. So I missed 4 birds right in a row.
That was Joe playing a little strategy.
But so that was my a little bit of a bad decision on the stand before, being a little aggressive and then being indecisive there. Missed one on the next stand after that, just being careful. Just missed 4 now in 2 stands after shooting the first part of the course well. Got out there on Winchester. My second stand was the tower. I never hit the tower, so I missed 3 on the second stand. And then I got to that big teal behind the tree.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and I was like, I thought I was more confident to hit it 3 times in a row, dropping than 3 times in a row on the way up. And I shot my first bird. Mike Wilgus was in front of me, and he shot on the way up and ran it.
Wow.
And I stepped in there, and I made a good move, and I shot it dropped, and I missed the first one. And I stopped, and that's like one of the handful of moments where I was fairly conscious in the box, you know. And I missed it, and when I missed it, it felt right, you know. So I didn't know if I needed to get further under it or I gave it too much or not enough. I made a good move and just didn't break. So I changed my plan. I didn't have a really good hold point because I didn't plan on shooting it going up. So I changed my plan. I literally, what crossed my mind was, I was like, this is how you totally fuck up a station. Okay, right? You know, not, you know, you have it, you know, I changed my plan. I shot it unmounted because I didn't have a good hold point, and I hit the last 2 pairs.
On the way up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's surprising.
So I couldn't do it again on the way down because I didn't know what to do different.
Yeah.
And I knew I didn't want to shoot it in my pocket because I didn't really know where to hold.
Yeah.
I wasn't studying it like that. Yeah. And so I just shot a little bit unmounted and just saw it well. I didn't shoot it real aggressive, just saw it well and, you know, made a good mount and I killed it. I hit the first one hard and I cracked the next one in half. And I ran the course out. We ended on that chandelle. I was a little bit
the 90 chandelle.
Yep. Yeah. I was a little bit indecisive of how to shoot that. You know, watched a lot of really good shooters miss 1 and 2 birds, and just stuck to what my original plan was. And then today, the only other stand that I kind of had like something cross my mind, kind of conscious, real conscious about that was when I was first up on that bat 2 stand. I had seen the guy shoot it in front of me, and you know, when I was standing outside the box, I was like, this is this type of station that you can win or lose this tournament on. You know, I was 1 behind, so going into today. So you get too aggressive, you can miss 3 or 4 birds there. If you get too aggressive, but if you're not aggressive, you got no chance of running it.
Yep.
You know, so I knew I could kill it early and kill it aggressive, and I was pretty fast with it, as fast as I could consistently kill it, and I lost dead on the first pair. And when I lost dead on the first pair, I knew that I didn't misjudge it, and my move was good. I just shot a hair before I really got my eye to the clay.
Yeah.
And I just loaded the gun and did the exact same thing and just saw the bird a little bit better before I fired, and I killed a 5. So that was a big 5, early in the round too.
That's the kind, that position. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
You got to decide what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, if you're 4 birds ahead,
yeah.
You know, you can make sure you kill the first one every time and get the second one once or twice. You know, but if you're 1 bird behind.
Even just like how you're approaching it mechanically and visually, and how much you're pressuring those 2 things, it's a huge game of chess out there.
Oh,
you know,
sure.
And so would you say, just to summarize, that you feel like in that position, being 1 behind, how comfortable and how much do you enjoy being like just pedal to the metal or like, because I know that you're very, you know, intellectual, you approach the game very intellectually just by the way that you answer questions, you know, so like how much are you thinking about playing the strategy of it like that is basically.
I feel like, you know, you would have to be ahead significantly to come up with a different plan on that station.
Yeah.
You know, you would have to have a 4 bird lead or something.
Yeah.
To basically say that you're going to be a little bit more conservative on that first bird. But at the end of the day, I feel like there's a right way to shoot every target. And, you know.
I couldn't find any of those this week. Me too.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any way that the line of the other bird first, in my opinion, is much more difficult. If you
Which one did you shoot first?
Low, fast.
Low, fast? What did you shoot first? Low, fast?
I mean,
I shot high, low.
Really?
Obviously, I didn't win, but I did pretty well on that station.
I feel like the line was tougher on that one, no?
To me, I thought the line was easier shooting high, low.
Gotcha.
Because to me, it was a flatter line earlier.
Gotcha. And like thinking about
the one that I shot first was the bird further to the right that went high. It would have been the one that when they both fall, it was.
The second shot was when it was knifing down into the left.
Yeah, but my second shot.
We shot ours that way.
I thought that one was lower there.
Which one? I for sure shot the top bird than the bottom bird.
Yeah.
I'm colorblind, so don't ask me about colors.
Well, now even I'm a little bit confused. I felt like the bottom one you saw the belly
That's
quickly,
the one I feel like I
and
shot first.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it caught my eye.
And that had a straighter line, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yeah.
I think we shot it the same way.
No, I shot the top. I shot the edgy bird first.
David absolutely did it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm generally pretty good at doing that. At least making that choice.
To score a 6 there, you're aggressive regardless, right? So
Yep.
if you're not going to have much strategy there, unless your strategy was like that's your last stand and you're ahead by
Yeah.
3 birds and you can't shoot a 2,
Right. Right.
But then if that's the case, if you're really analyzing your own game, you need to be better at shooting that bird with a massive gap early. And if you don't have that in your wheelhouse, then you're coming to that station with the wrong tools.
Yeah.
So that's not my go-to move in general. But I'm as good at it as I need to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot out there that I shot any differently, whether I was winning or losing or ahead or not ahead. But there are things that, cross my mind in terms of making a decision quickly before you get yourself in massive trouble. And I think if you look at a lot of the best shooters, there was people that got themselves in massive trouble, on a couple stands per course. Instead of missing 1 or 2, they missed 3 and 4.
Right.
And that's the only thing that counts for the scores being as low as they were for some people that are really incredible shooters.
I think everything you've said is fascinating, and I'm sure the people that are watching this either live or later, that's so interesting to think about. I mean, there's 1,100 people here, and I would venture to guess that 9 out of 10 of them don't have any thoughts like that. They just throw 2 shells in the gun and throw 2 shells in the air.
That's honestly, in my opinion, that's the difference between how the podium shakes up. Is not, and feel free to disagree with me, guys, if you wish, but it really is. I don't think everybody on the podium equally is good, but one guy played the game better, and that's the guy that wins in that moment, because the game really intellectually is so complex in terms of the strategy of things, and so it requires, in my opinion, a huge level of awareness of your own strengths and weaknesses in that very moment, and how everything is affecting your physiology in that very moment, not that day, for that exact pair, and you made the right choice, because everybody, the top 10 guys, can all make do the same things with the gun, but they may not have picked the right thing to do at a certain time, and they weren't able to do it, and that caused the loss.
Yeah.
Especially when the birds are like this, though.
Yes, exactly
Do
right.
you agree?
100%.
If the birds weren't like this and it was something that's not very thought out, then you don't have to take that approach on some of the
Yes,
targets.
completely agree.
Conservative or not, it doesn't make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Which is why these type of birds are the most fun, in my opinion.
But if you take someone like me that doesn't have half the skill level or target inventory that you 3 guys do, it either went really well or really bad out there. There was no in between, because somebody at my skill level doesn't have that thought process that you guys do. I'm not there yet. I may never be there at 51 years old, but
You're just a hopeless cause, Jason.
tell his mic off, would you?
You can. I'm the sound guy.
But no, anyway, I mean, out of 1,100, probably 900 other people here are that same way. I mean, really. I mean, there's a handful of people through AA and Masters that can even talk like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these targets. But here's the thing, though. I've never had so much fun missing as many targets as I did. I mean, this was an awesome course.
Moving forward, though, for everybody who may be listening that is in, Mr. Rambo's same position where you're saying, oh, I might not be able to shoot a 185 like, Anthony Matarese did. I shot a 132 or 142, whatever it may be. I think when you analyze the tournament, you try to look back and realize what's the whole goal. Why do people take lessons? Why do people practice? Why do people try to get the right kind of equipment. It's all to just raise your score at the end of the day. So when you're looking at your scorecard and you're, assessing each situation, you look at your card and you say, okay, where did I have these 3 or 4 stations where I missed 4 birds or I missed 5 birds? How can I now miss only 1 or 2? And in the stations where you can hit all the birds, you break the first pair, you break the second pair, you miss one on your last pair, you've already broken it. You can break it. So how can you turn those 5s out of 6s into 6s out of 6s?
Right.
And then those times where you might have got 3 out of 6 on a station, how can you try to get out of there with the 4 or 5 out of 6? And if you collectively kind of gather all that together and summon that up, your score will improve. And, there's some people that, unfortunately, no matter how much they practice, even if they practice 7 days a week, 3 cases of shells a day for the rest of their life, they probably won't be able to get to a point like Anthony or Todd or some of the other best shooters in the country, and that's okay. You love the game, you had fun, and you want to improve.
Yeah, absolutely.
If your best is, 75th percentile, 80th percentile, you always want to find a way to improve. How can you get to 80, 85, 90,
Yeah.
So it's just that's how I would look at that, is even though you might not have that target inventory, just figure out, how can I, after missing a bird 3 times in a row with the same exact plan, the same exact approach, when you miss it in the next tournament, a really tough bird, what are you going to fix?
Right.
Not where did you miss, but why did you miss it?
Well, but even the guys in the lower classes can learn a lot off of what you and Anthony just said, because they can learn how to manage their tournament like Anthony did, or all 3 of you did, to be up here on the podium, right? So I think
you're just trying to break every bird.
Yeah.
That's how we try to manage it. It's everyone you can.
Yeah, instead of some guys, I've watched it happen. A guy would miss a target and he just went downhill. He took the misses. I suck and I can't hit it. And instead of trying to figure out how to hit that bird, it's like, I'll never hit it. And then they never hit it.
It's important to try and stay calm. Shooting is a very unique game for a lot of different reasons.
Yes.
It's similar to golf and some other sports where you really got to be poised and keep your composure, because it's not a contact sport where you can build off of adrenaline and then get fired up and maybe perform better. It's a game of finesse. There's some art to it.
Yes.
So if you miss, it's very frustrating. You want to be mad, but instead of allowing that, whether it be your emotions or mentally how you're thinking about yourself, just try to figure out what's going on and be present in that moment. And then, how can you make this better for the future? Because you're always thinking about the future. We're at the 2024 U.S. Open right now, but, God willing, we'll be at the 2025, 2026, 2027 U.S. Open, and all these things can build on that. You saw Anthony kind of talk about that earlier when he was talking about the World Feed Task. He might have worked on some things between Sunday at World Feed Task and Friday morning of the U.S. Open that carried over into resulting in a win here for him.
Right.
It's always how can you learn from the negatives and build on the positives. And even though there's a lot of disappointment from that, I know at least for me this week, and I'm sure Todd feels the same way, and some of the other competitors that were close. We're excited that we performed well. We know we made good shots throughout the week, but truthfully, when you get close to winning a big title and you don't secure that win, you don't come away with the gold medal or the trophy at the end of the week, it can be very disappointing, and you can feel let down. I know I'm disappointed because I had a chance this week to potentially win, and there was some shots earlier in the week that I didn't make, or I might have didn't finish a round with a good score, or might have misread a target and didn't execute the plan the way I should have. And I'm going to fly home tomorrow thinking about all those shots and being disappointed, because it truly does hurt being so close and not coming away with the win. But you can't allow that to overshadow the positive things. You can't allow the feeling of disappointment or heartbreak, because we might have been so close to winning a huge title that would have been great on our resume and just for personal accomplishments, to overshadow the fact that we made a lot of good shots and performed well at a very, very high level. So
how old are you now, Joe?
I'm 21.
21.
Yep.
And you're runner-up at the U.S. Open. I wouldn't be too disappointed.
Twice. Both to this guy right here. I know it. 2021 and this year. So, hopefully, or not hopefully, it's definitely going to be something that, I bring with me and never forget. And we've all had situations. We've all been second. We've all been third at big shoots that we could have won. But that's what fuels the fire. That's what makes you try to sharpen your skill set, be motivated to work harder, and come back stronger each and every tournament whenever you get the opportunity. So I know all these guys feel the same way.
Well, we've kept you guys here way longer than we intended to, and I bet it's been great. I really appreciate y'all's time. Joe, we'll start with you and just kind of pass the mic through. Why don't you tell us, I know you got some people you want to thank, some people that support you.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I want to thank God, for just giving me the opportunity to be here. I have so much to be thankful for. Clay shooting is an amazing game where we get to meet a lot of really nice people and travel to a lot of amazing places around the world. And, at the end of the day, we all want to win, but we just need to take a second and take a step back and realize how blessed we are. I mean, what an amazing week we all had here. We're here with some of our closest friends and companions and like-minded people from across the country that are all coming here to this place to do the same thing, which is shoot clay targets, because we love it, and it just fosters a great environment for everybody. And, so I want to thank God for just giving me the opportunity to get involved with clay shooting. And if you want to help anybody that you don't know that's not involved with clay shooting, you absolutely should, because it's helped me create some of the best memories of my life. Of course, I want to thank my parents, Maria and Fred Finizzi. They've been by my side every step of the way and been the right kind of support staff to kind of help me grow into the shooter I want to be, which is a competitor, at every big shoot in the country. And they've been by my side in the good times and the bad. Of course, all my sponsors. I want to thank Beretta, Winchester, Cole Gunsmithing, Pila Performance Eyewear, Pure Gold Chokes. There's so many amazing companies, Castellani, that's there, every step of the way, and having the best equipment out there on the course is great for your confidence and being able to perform well. And then, my closest friends, family, my girlfriend. There's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made, because in order to perform at a high level in anything, you've got to work really hard at it. And there might be times where you might want to go to a family reunion or a fun party with your friends or another event, but you decide to make the hard choice and say, I'm going to go practice. I'm going to go work on my game. I'm going to go prepare for the next event. So all those people who have been understanding, been supportive, been there, sending me texts, whether I win or whether I lose. When you perform well, everybody's there to, pat you on the back and congratulate you and give you a high five. But it's those people that are there, encouraging me when I've had a bad shoot and reminding me, you can do this. You got what it takes.
Yeah.
I want to thank all those people that are out there. So
Awesome.
All my sponsors, my main two sponsors being Beretta and Winchester, my family, my immediate family, my wife and all my kids were here, so that's great. It was a clan of 6, so that keeps us busy. We had a good time. It's great for them to be here, and like Joe said, there's sacrifices to come with that, whether it's practice, travel, going places on your, my wife going places on her own because I'm off at a tournament somewhere and she's got 4 kids to handle on her own, and coming here just to take 4 kids to a major championship like this, and they're between age 10 and 15 months, so it's not a lot. It's not an easy task.
Anthony the third in his little Castellani vest, stumbling around Station 12 today when you closed the deal.
Right. So cool. All that's huge. Thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to do this when I was a young kid. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here, that's for sure.
I just kind of same along lines, Anthony and Joe. Definitely the biggest thing, thanking my family for all the support, all the friends, all the people that helped me get here. Big 3 sponsors, along throwing gunsmithing, guns, military ammunition, and Jack Link's beef jerky. So it's been without all that support, I wouldn't be able to be here where I am today and be the shooter I am. So
Awesome.
Happy to have him on board.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
Of course, thank you guys.
Yeah,
I'm super proud that we didn't talk too much over the last 30 minutes, because what you 3 had to say was
Gold.
pure gold.
Yes,
I cannot
absolutely.
thank y'all enough.
yeah, and belated happy birthday to you, Anthony. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, and what a great, you old son of a dog. Hey, congratulations, Anthony. Great job. Good job, Todd. Good job, Joe. Oh, Joe's over there. I got it.
Are the girls still here? We've been here so long.
Hey, good job, Joe. Good job. Yeah, of course, man. Congratulations.
You swinging back to me, aren't you? I gotta fill time. We're trying. What's that? All right, so Madison's on her way here. We'll give her just a minute. We're going to have the top 3 ladies sit down with us for a minute. While we're waiting on them,
hey, is
What's the matter, Dave?
I just want to check to make sure. I'm not like getting much feedback from anybody in terms of how audio and stuff is. So I just want to make sure. And we don't have good enough service here on our phones to check. I can't really watch it to see what it looks like. I have no idea.
So the video's a little choppy and the audio's echoing a little bit. I don't think we can get away from the echo.
Well, yeah, we are stuck inside.
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
Yes.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Grab the mic.
Let's go.
Halen, thanks for sticking around and
Joining
us.
Sorry it took so long.
Well, you know.
Well, sometimes the guy's got a gift to gab too, just like you.
Well, that's my specialty.
That's your specialty.
Come on now.
While we're waiting on Madison to join us, on Friday, you were right up there with the guys. Your scores were
It's been two tournaments in a row.
Two tournaments in a row.
That's pretty cool.
You're making me nervous.
Knocking on the door. I mean, look, you beat this guy over here.
You probably whooped me. How many birds did she beat me by? Could I have shot an extra course maybe?
Give him an extra 3 par course or a sporting course.
Oh my gosh.
What's up, Madison? There she is.
Surprise.
So, Alex, she already booked, didn't she? She already took
She
off.
was here and now she's not.
Who?
I looked outside
What's
and-
the? I have not. I came straight off a rainy fee test to come to this. What was the? I didn't even know HOA runner up in third until we had those guys here. So how did the? Who was?
Yeah, so these ladies fared fantastically. Madison Sharp is your lady champion with a 167. Congrats, Madison. And Halen is your lady runner-up at 164. And then Alexandra Wampler at 159. And I guess that she...
Yeah, I think she peeled already. We took too long.
But so we've got a gold and a silver medal here. So congratulations to some incredible shooting. That's what we talked about so much with the guys, was what a test this was. I know you have both competed all over the U.S. and overseas. Talk about the target difficulty. Talk about what it was like to podium at a U.S. Open.
Yeah, so the targets, I mean, it was a grind all week. I think Halen would agree with me. There wasn't just a station of, oh, I'm going to hit all 60s. You had to work for every single target out there. I mean, it's super special to be on the podium, especially with Halen and Alex. She shot well, too.
Shot really well. I bet if she was here, she would say the same thing. She shot great.
Okay,
I
well-
got to shoot with Alex all weekend, and it was fun. I watched her shoot well yesterday and the day before, and today we didn't get to shoot with her. We were with Brad and Sean, and I mean, she really lit it up today and all weekend. She was third in Ladies Cup as well.
Well,
We have to brag on her since she's not here.
Madison, while you were running up here, I mentioned a comment to Halen, and I want to hear from both of you on this. On Friday, y'all were right there with the guys at the top of the leaderboard. And then I know things kind of shuffled around a little bit, but it's coming. And I've been talking about this. This happened at the World Fee Task, and now here we are at the 2024 U.S. Open. It's happening again. It's a matter of time before we're not talking about a lady HOA. We're talking about an HOA for you girls. Is this a goal, or is this something that you girls are like, hey, look, we can't just have our own class. We want to play with the boys too here. And you girls are really getting that close. Is it something that ever crosses your mind, or no, I'm still going out there and just trying to break every target?
Yeah, 100% for me. I think Halen would agree. I guess, so kind of my take on it. So I believe it was in 2022. It might have been in 21. But at the Western Regional, I actually placed third overall. And, I had no clue. I was on a plane. I thought that there was going to be a lot of other men to shoot way higher than me. And, at that moment, I was like, okay, there's going to be a lady that can HOA the whole shoot. And I personally think that someone's going to do it
It's a
here
matter
pretty
of time.
soon.
Yeah. What? Anything to add to that, Helen?
Well, it's, when you look at scores overall, and especially if you go back to World Fee Task and all of that, and you look at to the top 3 ladies all tied with 182s. and that'd be a huge chunk of the men. Like, that's awesome to see. That's what our sport has grown into. And then even here, starting off on the Beretta, we tied all the way up until today. And it's awesome to see that we're finally getting to a place where we've got a seat at the table as well. It's just only a matter of time before somebody breaks it. And there's plenty of ladies in this sport who can do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm going to make up bumper stickers, and I'm going to have them with me. Okay.
Oh gosh.
And when it happens, I'm going to pass them out to everybody at the shoot. Says I got my butt kicked by a girl. So I think that'd be awesome. That's a good marketing campaign.
You can give me one of those right now.
I guess I should wear that on my forehead.
Hey, I'll just wear the T-shirt. So, you had something, Ben?
No. How was the rest of the week for y'all? Did y'all have many other events? Like, did you have a full menu, or did you come really focused for the main and FETASC, the major events?
Well, for me in particular, most of the time, just due to if it's in the school year, school restrictions and stuff like that, I can only shoot like the top three events, so 5-stand, FETASC, and the main. But this time I shot Super Sport and shot well in Super Sport. I mean, I feel like for me in particular, that's finally this year. I feel like I'm finally getting out of this slump that I've been somehow put myself in over these years, and finally breaking that boundary to get better. And so I think it's awesome that people can come out and shoot all these events, but sometimes restrictions are in the way. But I know you shot multiple as well, so I'll let you talk about it now.
So really my main focus is obviously we all want to shoot well in the main event, and FETASC and 5-stand, especially since the Winchester Cup, because there's money up for grabs and we all want to shoot well in all three events. But I also shot prelim and super sporting as well. I thought all the targets were great, and they were a lot of fun, especially the Beretta course on the main. There were some very English style targets, if you will.
Well, so I was scrolling through payouts, and so Madison, I saw that you have multiple lady options in multiple events. So obviously you had a busy week, and 5-stand, FETASC, like several high ladies, if I'm not mistaken. How did these all come together for the Winchester Ladies Tour over the course of the year?
Yeah, so at the end of the year, they take, I believe, our top 5-stand, main, and FETASC events, and it's based off of a point system. So if you win HOA, then it's 10 points. If you're second, it's 9 points, and so on. So at the end of the year, they're all tallied up between Nationals, U.S. Open, and the 5 regionals.
Is that something that either of you keep up with during the year? Like, do you know where you stand, and you know what you got to do going to the next tour stop?
I feel like it's kind of a stretch, and okay, I don't need to be so focused on if I don't win the 5-stand or the FETASC. I want to be in the moment and present in the moment for what I'm there for, not for 5 tournaments out. I have to win these events at, nationals this year, or I'm not going to make the top 3 for Winchester.
Sure. Is there a favorite event for either of you that you have a lot of confidence in, and that's where you're going to get a lot of your points?
For me, recently it's been my FETASC game. I feel like I've really been working hard to grow that and better that, especially coming off last year with a gold medal in Hungary, and then this year with a silver medal. It's like I know what I can do with my FETASC game, and so I've been really trying to work mentally on how to shoot 3 to 5 pairs in a row over and over and over again, and still stay in the moment and still stay present. So my main event has kind of been my hot and cold event, so I've been working really hard to get that back in together. But FETASC is, I think that's my favorite, but I think so. What about you?
Hold on a minute before you give that back.
Okay.
I think you're being a little bit modest, okay? I shot 5-stand with you, and I watched. I need to wear the T-shirt. I got my butt kicked by a girl. She was actually in the stand right next to me.
We all should just wear that.
Yeah, but she was in the stand right next to me, and I don't know if either one of you guys shot 5-stand, but layout 3 was a booger. And
Today especially, that win sucked for us.
And this girl, she put it down. I mean, she was on it. I can't believe how well you shot.
No, we had a good time. You and I had some good conversation in between, waiting on everything, talking about like mental game and how to prepare for this, and
Yeah, when I'm going from 5 to 1 and she's going from 4 to 5, she walks by and pokes me in the head and says, "Quit using that."
Yeah, I was like, quit thinking. And then what did you do? You were in the next two cages.
That's what you got to do, Jason.
Sometimes you just got to get rattled around a little bit.
When you don't have much to work with up there, it's really easy to let it go wrong.
That's me. I admit it. So,
what's that, Jason?
I admit it. So, Madison, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, Halen, you're still in College Station, right? Are you doing any school this summer or done?
Well, this is my last official summer ever, so I was like, I better take it off and, enjoy it and go travel and do what I can, because next time this year I'll probably have a job.
Also, a degree and a job.
A degree and a job, and that's really terrifying.
Like David's still fighting it.
I've never had a real job.
I was like, okay, well, I got to find a job so I can pay for this. And then I was like, okay, doing the math, and I was like, I need a $500,000 job out of college. If anyone's hiring, my email is in the comments.
Start with Elon Musk.
Yeah, you might be a good one to go with.
And so for Madison, you and I were able to work together a little bit this spring as you're at Hog Heaven in Dripping Springs, Texas, and that club has been around for a while, but is now throwing some registered targets. And so tell us about what's happening in Central Texas. What's on the horizon for you? Are you doing a lot of coaching? What's it like to run a club?
Yeah, so I moved to Texas. It was a year ago. I graduated from Clemson. And I honestly had no clue what I wanted to do with my degree. I majored in nutrition, and we actually had a group of people come in and take over the management side of the club. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, I'm interested in this. I want to come talk and kind of see what everything's about. And so I did, and I ended up accepting the job. So me and Trevor Jensen, we were setting targets. We're teaching out there. We're running the club. We just started throwing NSCA shoots,
Nice.
which is super exciting for us because we get a lot of good feedback and, hear things that people like and that they don't like. And ultimately, my goal is to have my own world-class club one day. So I think it's been an awesome opportunity to, 1, get to live my dream out, and 2, get to do it with Trevor, and 3, just, kind of, I graduate from college and then I get to do this, so it's really exciting.
It's a beautiful piece of the hill country for anyone that's there on the west side of Austin. Hog Heaven Sporting,
Yes.
You definitely need to look them up. And y'all are both coaching out there?
We are, yep.
So there you go. You can have a U.S. Open champion give you some lessons.
Awesome.
I'm getting looked at. Does that mean I can ask questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it away, David.
Girls, brace yourselves.
There's a seat belt down there. You might want to buckle in.
May need a pillow too.
I'll start with Madison. So, uniquely with you, I mean, however many years ago that it was when I first met you at what then used to be called Live Oaks, right?
Yeah.
How?
Now it's Palmetto Oaks.
Yeah. How old were you?
Gosh, I don't know. I was probably 13 or 14.
Yeah, it had to be very, very young.
I wasn't very old. I had just started
Yeah,
shooting.
you literally just started.
Yeah, and I heard about Champs Camp, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's with David.
Yeah.
And Matt was there,
Yeah,
and I was like, Daddy, I gotta go. My dad's like, okay. So he signed me up. And
Right. Yeah. So what's cool for me is to see with you, the transition from the little girl at Champs Camp that was so dedicated there, asked great questions, took everything very seriously, yet had the same smile that you're always having fun, both of you guys. To go from that and then to see you transition from, being on a youth team, shooting with a bunch of kids, and then now, winning everything that you've won. And running, working and running a club and teaching now. And so my question for you would be that with all of that and the complexity of how life takes you through all of that, first off, the first question would be, would you think, as that little girl sitting on those tables and listening to Tony, Matt, and I's stupid jokes for a week long, that you would be doing this as a career now?
Absolutely not. Mr. Tony gave me a C.
Did he?
C minus on my pre-shot routine. No, I don't. I never would have thought I would be sitting here doing this.
C minus on his pre-shot routine, did he?
I read out this whole page of like every single thing I did.
I remember that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's like, no,
Yeah.
C minus. I'm like, what?
Oh my God, you guys!
It was since that moment that you decided to prove him wrong, I guess.
I wonder what his routine is compared to yours now.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't seem to be a podium at a major.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there right now. Parental advisory. It's shocking that David did not corrupt this poor girl. She obviously got away from.
Well, that's what, yeah. It was so long ago that she actually had a chance because she got,
She got away.
Yeah, she got away. But no, so then okay. So with that being said, my question now is like all of the multifaceted approaches to this game. Do you think that it brings different perspectives for you to understand how to play this game at the level that you need to be able to win, like being able to coach? Does that bring something in? But running a club, understanding all of that, all basically what I'm wanting to know is, does it hurt or help? And if it does either of the two, to be that involved, maybe a little bit of both. Explain a little bit about how you've managed it, because I think that there's a lot of people, especially younger people, that are coming into the sport that are kind of wanting to get involved in the same type of way. And I think it'd be really helpful to hear from, you guys on that.
Yeah. So, I absolutely am so blessed that I get to do what I do every day. I mean, I wake up, I live on the range, okay?
Yeah.
So that's a curse and a blessing
Yes.
in itself, okay? More so a blessing, but to get to wake up and do what I love every single day, it's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
14-year-old me, I never would have thought,
Yes.
Madison's going to move to Texas and she's going to work at this gun club and teach. So to answer your question, I think it's both, because
Yes.
we put in some really long hours, lots of days, but I have learned so much from it. And
Yeah.
I do think it's helped my game. I also think that in some aspects it's hurt it just a little bit,
Yeah.
because, I mean, when I'm in Texas, I'm at the club. I am teaching, we're changing targets, we're doing something at the club. So, even now, right now at the U.S. Open, this is a break for me.
Yes.
From getting away from the club.
Yeah, I completely understand
It's
that.
a lot of work.
It's
but-
a lot of work, and I think that one thing, just personally for me, one of the things that's so hard about it is I can relate so much to that statement that this is a break for you, because it's the same thing for me. And I struggle with the fact that because the competing at a U.S. Open is a break for me, that it's very hard to take seriously. It's very hard to be so finely tuned in your focus and your intent and the discipline that you have when this is a break. So that congratulations to you for being able to manage that a million times better than me.
Yeah. Well, hold on a second. I want to feed off of that. If you don't mind, hold your train of thought.
Yes, sir.
I know that's hard for you.
It's gone already, so.
Great. I want to feed off of that and kind of shift to Halen for a second. The last podcast we did with you, and forgive me, I know it's been a while. He's not here, so I'm blaming Sean.
Yeah, that's not cool, guys.
Yeah, I'm blaming Sean.
He's
but
fired.
No, you had just won the national championship, and you said you were right. You were leaving the shooting complex and going back to the hotel and studying and doing.
Dude,
all
I had
kinds
an
of homework.
accounting exam.
I know, right?
Update didn't go well.
Dang it.
But
Jason, you're stealing my question. Wait, I had a good question. Maybe, what is exactly your question? 'Cause
Well, my question is, she's now taking a break from college for the summer.
yeah.
And is it still going to, because you had told me at that time you had used, not intentionally, but studying for college and everything, it was a distraction from the shooting.
Yeah.
to let you just show up to the complex and strictly focus on shooting.
Yeah.
And then when you left, you could go back to the college stuff. Well, now you've got the summer off.
Okay.
So is this going to change your mindset?
She's going to spend the summer looking for that $500,000 job.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. Whatever camera I'm supposed to look at, this is not a joke. So the thing now is like kind of like what we talked about earlier is I know that this does not pay my bills. This is literally the most expensive hobby I've ever had in my
Why
entire
didn't you
life.
tell me that when I first started this?
I know. This is, for all those who are listening, this does not pay your bills.
If you think it's expensive, go racing. Trust me.
So I've had to kind of flip it a little bit, where I have now realized that my priorities have changed so much over the past few years. Like, from if you would have asked, I don't know, 18-year-old me this same question, this would be like, oh, this is my job, this is my career, this is this, this is this. This is not, I've had to look at it from the other point of view where I use this now as my, like what you said, it's my vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment I start considering it as work is the moment I start putting too much pressure on myself. And I'm like, well, Halen, if you don't do this, like, you don't get to pay your rent. Like, that's literally never been a chance. So I'm like, you know what? It's time for you to just kind of let it rip. And I've had, well, my buddy is Braxton Oliver, who y'all all know, but Braxton had me sat me down here at the North American P-Task right before Worlds. And he kind of just laid it out there. He was like, you're taking this way too seriously. And I'm like, now what is that supposed to mean? And he goes, you're like amped up over something that's, you know that you haven't had the time to put in the practice. You have other priorities. You're trying to do all these things. This needs to be vacation. This is your relaxation.
This fun,
this is your fun. And I was like, I hate to admit you're right, but you're right. And so I went into World Feet Task going, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And, I mean, that's the best I think I've shot in a very, very, very long time, aside from 2 tournaments.
This sounds eerily similar to the conversations that my wife and I have. She's like, you're not paying the bills with the shooting.
Yeah.
Just go have fun.
Well, I mean, both of us can agree that this, if we paid our, light bill with the amount of money we win from a shoot, we'd live in a box under the bridge.
Listen, I've got 2 boxes under 2 bridges.
There you go. Your vacation box.
Yeah. It's a little smaller than the normal box, but,
Poor fella.
I found some foam and I put it in there so it's comfortable at least.
So it's almost like you just have to take everything and just go out there and just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And once I started doing that, I was like, the last 2 tournaments, I've silvered at Worlds, and I got runner-up here behind Madison. So it's like, did it win? No. But did you expect to win? No. So it's like, I'm here just having fun pulling the trigger, and it just worked out that it podiumed.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and Madison, your score of 167 is only 2 birds out of being a top 10 finish, and then the same for Halen, just a couple back. That is some seriously amazing.
I mean, that's awesome.
Sport Chaser says 1,138 competitors. Yeah, 1,138 was total registration. So
1,138 people, and you 2 placed in the top 10.
Yeah.
What would y'all do if a lady wins an open, a regional, or the national?
Oh, super
Would
excited.
y'all do a backflip?
No, we're going to make permanent seats.
I can't do one of those, but I would try.
We are going to build permanent seats with your names on it in the podcast studio, and y'all just show up when you want.
No, I'm say if you show up at Ohio State, maybe you would win.
Oh, I didn't think about that angle. I should have dropped that card.
What was it? I couldn't hear.
Say it again, Helen.
So, Mr. Jason has been on me because I'm not going to shoot Ohio State next week.
How many else?
And he goes, well, if you would have showed up, maybe you would get on the podcast.
Oh.
And so I don't know how I feel about that.
you can always earn your way onto the podcast by standing on a podium. You did.
Yeah.
So here we are. are.
Super happy to
Yes,
have you
hope
all.
you're okay.
All kidding aside, you're always welcome on the podcast. Both of you always are. So, no, don't take that the wrong way. I was just trying to tease you into going to Ohio State. Hey, look, I'm vice president of the board. I got to get as many people there as I can. Okay, that's my job.
Shameless promotion.
Shameless promotion.
So having busy schedules, the next two regionals, the Northeast at Hopkins, and then one that is kind of
Near and dear to our
near and dear, the South Central, right? All three Texas residents, right? You guys planning to attend both of those?
I am, yeah.
I can't with the one in Maryland because I start school that week. My last first day of school.
Last first day.
Wow.
Last first day of school.
Congratulations for that. But Defender, South Central,
That place is awesome. Like
favorite. We had Travis on last night.
Travis is awesome. I love Travis. Travis was like, growing up, and we'd go to the San Antonio Livestock Show because that was our champs camp, by the way.
Yeah.
But we had literally we sat there and watched Corey and we watched Travis, and it's like, oh, these people are really cool. I want to be like them when I grow up. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I know these people.
Not, oh my gosh, I know these people. Oh my gosh, y'all are peers, and there are tons of young men and young women at those sales shoots that can't wait to meet Halen Hanks and Madison Sharp. So,
Well,
remember that.
Well, hopefully they will see me next year. I think I'm going to do a little something because they're the people who brought me up. I grew up. I didn't. SETP wasn't king in Texas. 4-H is king, and so that is what I grew up shooting. And so Sale Shootout was that was the first chance for children to actually earn a shooting scholarship in Texas because there's not a whole lot of schools that allow you to do that. There's one or two, or so. Going there and talking with Kaylee Lawson and all her family basically ran the whole, in my opinion, helped run the whole thing. And so she was like, "Do you want to come help?" And I was like, "Of course I want to come help. This is it's our part. It's our duty as now women in the industry. We have to bring up new shooters because now we're getting old and we're the older shooters.
You talk about feeling such a strange experience at the super final I still think of myself as young, but maybe that's because I'm extremely immature. But no, you're not allowed. I'm muting your mic. Yeah. But for the super final at the World Championship in Jersey, whenever that was, I'm used to anytime I'm in a shootout for something. I'm used to always being the youngest one. I was the second oldest one in that whole thing. And I'm looking around like, man, where are the years going? Also, pretty amazing to see the talent in the younger people that are coming into the sport. And that kind of a little bit brings me into the question I wanted to ask you, Halen, can I ask? Okay. So my question is that, you have 1 year of school left.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that and I don't really know, I should get a little bit more information, but you said that you felt like a little while ago you were having a little bit of a slump.
Right, yeah.
Okay. How long did that last?
Oh my God, for way too long. But I felt like I had in the last probably 3 years 2 good tournaments.
Yeah.
One was the Nationals when I won Nationals, and one was Worlds when I won Worlds. And I was like, well, it was the good ones to win.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of those things where I was like, I felt like I was shooting, I guess, mid. Like, I was like, dude, you know what you're supposed to do. Like, why aren't you doing it? And it was like just a plateau.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's definitely been a few years.
Okay, so you said in the past 3 years,
yeah,
right? What year in school are you going into?
This will be my 4th year of college. So
you think there's a coincidence?
I think there's a huge coincidence.
So that's what my question was, which is that being somebody who and Madison, I could have asked you this, Yeah,
you went through it too.
Yeah. But I figured I'd ask it to you because you're currently in it. And so, that is a thing that every kid. There was 10,000 kids in Ohio last week shooting the SCTP shoot. Right. All of them in a maximum of 4 years are going to be in the position that you were in 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very challenge. All of us, went through that where, you go to school to get an education. You're also trying to balance shooting, and especially dependent on how you're approaching the game, the two of you, by the time you went into school, you were already at a level that most of the kids at the 10,000 kids that were there were not, which is that you were highly competitive in NSCA events, capable of winning major tournaments. And so then you have to go into school and put focus on that and figure out how to do your best in that, but then at the same time compartmentalize your life to be able to come to a major championship well-rested, prepared, mentally in a place where you can be an assassin out on the course, all of those things. And so my question to you is, really almost in a way, kind of get, instead of a question, more like a platform, say, what have you learned in the process of that? Because clearly you say that you had only won 2 shoots in the past 3 years, but now look at what's happening. And, clearly you're figuring something out, and it's showing results. So what could you give any advice to the kids that are going to be also dealing with that?
Oh, absolutely. The thing that I feel like the major component that has created, getting me out of that was, I think a lot of it has to do with your maturity. Yeah. At 18 years old, doing this, it's even now, it's still a little weird to go okay, I'm going, Ben said earlier, we're breaking pottery out of the sky. So it's a little weird to have a concept. And so, especially when you're going in, because I went to a public university, I go to Texas A&M. So it's the teachers don't care if you're there or not there.
Yeah.
They're getting your money either way.
Yeah.
So if you pass or fail, it's your problem.
Yeah.
So it's now become I think I've learned how to mature with, balancing practice versus schoolwork versus spending time with my family, spending time by myself, doing things that I enjoy outside of, pulling the trigger. And I think the first year I was I don't know how I'm supposed to balance this. There's 24 hours in a day, and I have 8 hours of homework to do, and I've been in class for 8 hours. So I'm okay, I have to sleep another 8 hours, and I was I'm running out of daylight.
Yeah, you got all 24 right there.
I was this is all I have. And so it's trying to really work through all of this, and I think it's just about, you just have to give more and take more when you need to.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking into going into a college or doing stuff like that, because Madison was in the same boat as me. You went to a public school too.
What school did you go to, Madison?
Clemson.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Yeah, that's right.
So, go Tigers.
So it's really tough when it's not a accredited university. If you go to school, in Texas, we have Schreiner, and they have a shooting team that the school's go shoot, go. And so I think I've really had to work a lot on finding balance, and it takes time, and you have to do it upon your own schedule. And so it's just, you have to sit down and really look at what your life is, and sometimes shooting has to take the back burner, and I think that's what happened a lot with me was I have to graduate. I had to pass accounting, as we all saw what happened after nationals. So I had to pass all these schools and all these classes, and still trying to do it this year. And it's really tough to do it, but you can do it. I mean, she's the example who has done it. Joe's in the same boat I am. We're both at A&M. That's really, really, it's a really hard school. I promise. But it's worth it.
That's kind of funny because we've talked so much about, and we just had Connor Daniel on earlier.
And he's about to hit that.
Yeah, and Dad was talking about cutting the purse strings and let's see what he can do on his own, right? I mean, I don't know if he was joking or serious, but it's been talked about a lot on the podcast is because usually once the kids hit college or just after college, that's when we lose them in the sport, right?
Yeah, you can definitely tell.
And then they come back, but what's funny is
it's amazing how many $500,000 jobs have been found.
Right?
Yeah.
But both of you girls and Joe and Todd that we just had on, are the survivors of that are still going to shoot. I know you. I don't care what job you have. You're still going to shoot.
Oh,
And-
y'all can't get rid of me that easy.
Dang it.
Now.
I was hoping not to get beat by any more girls.
But what I mean is, the four of you that have been on tonight are a little different, and you're the survivors that are figuring out a way to keep shooting. You know, and I think it's really cool. And
It's so much
I wish
time.
more of the kids coming up, and when I say kids, no disrespect, but you and David put together the same age as me. Okay, so but I just wish we could figure out a way for more kids to do that. You know what I mean? For more people to keep shooting throughout college. But it's tough. I get it. Like you said, it's expensive, and
I want to. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, you just really have to dig deep in within yourself, too. And it's like, it's a lot of self-awareness, I think, when especially you're trying to figure out if you want to still do this, because sometimes you might not have time.
Yeah.
Right.
And your game will suffer, but at the end of the day, I know you can agree as well, get the degree, and this will always be here. Like, I know this is what a bunch of my coaches and my friends, and we've talked about it, this is always going to be here.
Yeah.
So don't ever feel like you have to give up something you also want just because of this, because this is just your fun little hobby.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And to be fair to you guys, it is so much harder for women to make a job out of this than men.
Go ahead
You
and
know,
speak.
I mean, yeah, I mean, just hearing the not to call anybody out, but in all fairness, hearing the payouts, that's yeah. You know, I mean, if I have a good weekend, I can go to a shoot, and you know, I mean, you know, go to the South Central Regional, I can take home 17,000. You know, that's and I, you know, but you guys win.
A fraction of that.
Not even a fraction. What was your payout?
Like with the Winchester,
Yeah.
I think like 30 something hundred.
Yeah.
I mean, so like it
Like third,
yeah.
the main event alone, I think it was close to 700.
Yeah, it
so
was
your
like
total payouts like
750.
3,200, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, as somebody, I mean, I don't get any winnings, but what it costs to travel, you're taking home maybe $200-300.
And that's why it should be a hobby.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, I will say this, like, a lot of people, you know, since I've moved to Texas and I'm working at the gun club, I get the question all the time, oh, I bet you just practice all day long. Well,
Oh man.
no, I don't.
Well, wouldn't that be nice?
Right. So, like, I have a job I have to get done every day when I'm there. And, again, like, this is my vacation. And the money that the women win and take home, we're lucky if it covers our travel
Right.
and our tournament fees and our show or whatever, you know, you're having to buy. So, no, shooting is not my job. Working at the club, giving lessons, that's my job. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that. But I think it's really important for people to know because I don't just go home and live at the range and shoot 8 hours a day and then go compete. And, Yep, that's not my life at all. And I think there's a big misconception. So, I mean, honestly, me and Trevor, we're lucky if we get to practice a couple times a week.
Yep.
And when I say a couple of times, I'm talking about, oh, we have 30 free minutes right now. Like,
It's half dark.
exactly.
Yeah.
Today, you're so tired, and it's like,
Right.
the last thing I want to do is see another clay target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So I think that's a big misconception that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, with Helen getting a degree in accounting, I'm sure you already know the
By
doc.
the way, it is management consulting from Mays Business School. Thank you.
Oh,
Get it right, Jason.
well, that even.
Whoever I'd work for would be so sad.
And broke.
Okay, all right, I'll just stop. Go ahead, David. No, Ben, you go ahead.
I was going to open the floor to y'all.
Yeah.
You guys have brought up so many interesting points, kind of demystified, you know, quite a few things that people always wonder and speculate about your side of the game. If there's anything else that y'all wanted to get out there, whether it's your friends, your family, your sponsors, or
Yes.
just thoughts about the U.S. Open, the podium is yours.
Yeah, I mean, so all in all, Northbrook did a fantastic job. I think Halen would agree with me on that. I mean, from everything from I mean, even the porta potties, like they had them clean. Like,
Yeah.
I drink a lot of water on the
Me too.
course. I know you do, David.
Well, and the outdoors can be less friendly to the farer of, and so I do. That does cross my mind. It is unfortunate that sometimes some old man can just wobble into the woods, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's unfair.
I always seem to round the corner when they're doing that.
And even like the little hospitality things, they had like those pretty little baskets and
Yeah.
like
Presentation
cups of carrots. When do we get
And
healthy
they had a
stuff?
ranch with the carrots. Are you kidding me?
How awesome is that? That's I think what I think is so cool about that is that it's like it's not an afterthought about what they're trying to offer you to eat, because everything that was on there, but like if you would know in being majoring in nutrition,
Yeah.
I
They
mean
had a lot, like
it was awesome.
Yeah, like probably one of the best selection wise for like, here's not a ton of, there's some junk food,
Right.
but not a ton, but like, here's a spread of
Yeah.
vegetables.
Well, did you guys go to the one that was right there on the corner on the Winchester course? That one was a major spread. I mean, it had every kind of fruit and vegetable you could ever imagine, any kind of granola bar. They even had, of course, they had some chocolate there, but they had every kind of chip and Frito and whatever. I mean, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Look at this.
And then it was set up in open like peach crates.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
With like greenery.
Yeah.
It was
and,
bougie.
very much. As someone who's put on.
Is that the first time that word's ever been used on the Dead Bear podcast?
It is. It is. Congratulations. Your name is
Thank
going
you.
on the wall. So, right next to the Taconic Distillery. We're going to put you right there. Bougie. So, but, no, go ahead, please. I know you got people you want to thank.
But no, I seriously did enjoy my time at Northbrook. It's a beautiful club. They have it together here. I mean, it was phenomenal. Another great shoot, in my opinion. I do want to thank my family, my sponsors, my mom and my dad, especially my dad. He has sacrificed so much for me. I mean, even like talking to David about Champs Camp, like, my dad,
He was there all the time.
he was there the whole time watching, learning. He wanted me to be the best I could. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am. My grandparents, my sister. I don't get to spend much time with my sister because this is what I do. And I moved to a different state. But also Trevor, he's helped me tremendously. And also learning a lot from him about the game, and not only shooting side of it, but the club side of it. So work and things like that.
And Trevor, shout out to him with the top 10 finish.
He did.
He was
so
M10, correct?
he was. So I don't know, a lot of people probably don't know this, but he actually had a really bad arm injury. November will be 2 years, and he's very lucky just to be alive.
Wow, I didn't know that.
He did. So yeah, he almost bled out from a pit bull attack.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
Just for him to be shooting is like,
Yeah, when you shake his hand, you'll notice.
Really? Dang. I
it's
didn't know that.
insane that he can just hold a shotgun and he's able to shoot as well as he is.
Oh.
Shooting a new gun at that too.
Yes, he's shooting automatic now for weight wise and just to help him with his arm. But he's helped me a lot. And then of course my sponsors, Hog Heaven, Home for Me Now, and then Creek Off International, Alamo Sporting Arms, Remington Ammunition, Ultimate Shooting Accessories, Pure Gold Chokes, Kids and Clays. All of those people, thank you. Y'all have helped me out tremendously, and I'm honored to be able to support and wear your name on my back.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the good Lord, He gave me a talent, and I couldn't do it without Him either. So
That's awesome. Halen?
Yeah, and I wanted to add one thing about Northbrook. I always believe it takes a shooter to know how to run a tournament. And I grew up, hello.
You're growing up.
I'm
still.
growing up. But I shot with Cliff at A&M. We shot together on the team, and it's every single piece of what you need to know. Like if you need this, I know there's going to be a porta potty there. I know there's going to be water here. Like it's really special. Like they actually think these things through. And so Northbrook has always held an amazing tournament.
They do a fantastic
and they have
job.
so like world-class targets.
Every time I saw Cliff or Tommy, they look like coal miners.
Yeah, they were like
They were
literally.
covered in clay dust.
They're always doing. They were
Yeah,
never
the whole cyber family.
stopped.
Yep.
Like, but yeah, Northbrook does an awesome job. I don't know how many times we've been here, but it's a lot, and we've never had a bad experience.
I love shooting here.
But yeah, I really I want to thank my family. You know, like you said, my dad's literally sitting over there,
Yeah, just off camera.
just off camera. Love him to pieces.
He's always wearing your backpack and carrying your gun.
Like,
which-
he
How
is-
much do you pay him?
He gets to come. I'm just kidding. But no, he is the best unpaid intern I've ever had in my life.
He milks the position.
Yeah.
He stopped Clayton and I multiple times to tell jokes and just to be silly.
He,
and so
this is, I don't think,
I'm sure he
like,
keeps an even keel.
no,
for
you don't understand. This is his, like, this is his vacation too. Like, he comes, like, people, if I'm here by myself, people go, "Where's your dad?" I'm like, I don't know. He's probably around here somewhere.
I
Like,
think it would be
Did he
weird
fire
to
a
see.
shot this week?
no.
That's what I thought.
But he always tells me where I am. But no, I just want to thank him so much. He's always done everything for me. My mom and my sister, you know, like you said, it's when you're traveling and you do this full time, you don't get to see your family very often, you know, and if I do see them, it's like in passing, and my sister's busy, you know, she's going to graduate high school this year, and
Wow.
yeah, it's just, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're all grown up, and I was barely here for it. That's really weird. But, you know, I want to thank them. I want to thank my grandparents and, you know, all my friends and family back home. They are my support system that never even comes to see me. So, but I want to thank, you know, BMP, I want to thank Blauser, I want to thank Castellani USA, I want to thank, you know, my coaches, Dan Carlisle and Steve Liberta. I just saw Steve Liberta on Monday before we left, and he kind of put the foot to my ass, for lack of better terms, to get me back in shape. And, you know, I get to come see him next week and tell him, why didn't you hit a couple more birds more? So, but, yeah, I just, you know, they have done so much for me, and I would not be anywhere close to where I am without their help and their support and their love. And I just want to also thank y'all for doing this and helping us, and, you know, bringing awareness to me and Madison's weird, crazy lives.
Well, it's you know, it's multifaceted. We want to bring the kind of content that people want to see, right? They want to hear the words directly from your mouth, and
We know our favorite colors and stuff.
Mine's gray.
And the goal of the dead pair has always been to bring new shooters in, and
Oh, man.
when you're the newest shooter, right? What do you want to do? You want to learn, and you want access to, you know, those pros that seem like they're way up there on a pedestal. And so, you know, thanks for spending time with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
We do appreciate it.
we were on a podium, but we are absolutely not on a pedestal. That's for sure.
Well, no, but both of you should be proud. I mean,
Very.
You know, I mean, and unfortunately, Alexander couldn't join us, but you should be proud of where you're at. I mean, you're on the podium. You're at the top of the podium, and at the 2024 U.S. Open. I mean, that is a very prestigious.
At a very difficult U.S. Open.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But no, thank you, girls, for spending some time with us. I'm sorry we kept you so long.
It's okay. The boys like to talk.
I think they kept us long, is what I think happened.
Well, but we didn't get them on until after Aunt and Joe. And
Oh, yeah.
So
But probably for a good thing. Why aren't the guys this funny?
I don't.
They're
know.
too serious.
Way too
Not
serious.
I was
had.
gonna say,
Yeah.
like, they're
What?
too serious.
Yeah. This is entertainment.
I can't argue
What can we
that.
say?
Yeah.
I can't argue that.
Todd's so quiet, Joe's so polite,
Yeah.
Anthony knows entirely too much. Coupled with your 90-syllable words, like,
I was waiting on the comment from Anthony about he's going to go home and look in the dictionary and see what the hell David was just talking about today.
I started, and some of the times I'm looking at him, he's giving me a really weird look.
I'm like, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
yeah.
well, and Jessica actually stuck her face
I know,
out.
I got
know.
it, yeah.
So big shout out to the star behind the scenes, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Oh,
But,
and also, we also need to thank our trappers who came out here and pulled for us.
oh, yeah, man.
You
that
know,
was
like-
good this week.
Like, they were awesome.
Yeah.
They really were fantastic.
Very
Referees,
good tackles,
yeah.
I was very impressed, especially with some of the little ones who
Oh,
were out
yeah,
there
the
all
little
day
guys.
long.
Yes, we actually gave a shout out to them, and you did too.
The Domino family.
The Domino family.
Yeah.
They reached out. I didn't tell you. My apologies. They reached out to us after that broadcast and was so appreciative that we brought up their name. And I mean, I had like no less than 6 or 7 messages from all that group. Thank you so
cool.
much. I appreciate it. It's a thankless, tireless job.
It is thankless, for
and they
sure.
don't get enough credit. I try, no matter how bummed I am at my shooting, I try to always thank the trapper before I walk
sir.
away.
Yes,
Hey,
ma'am.
thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. We
I
appreciate
know y'all aren't
you.
from the South, but that's that's what we were taught, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're supposed to shake somebody's hand, look them in the eye, and say thank you.
Yeah.
And that's I'll give that to 4-H. 4-H made you shake their hands, and you say, I don't care if you shot a 1 or you ran it. You look that man in the hands. You pick up your shells if you miss the bucket, or you will have to like pick up every other shell on the course.
Yeah.
And you tell them thank you because those people do tireless work and thankless work.
Well, that's something we've tried to push a lot is, hey, look, just because you're having a bad day, they're out there making minimum wage, sitting in the sun all day, pulling your targets and writing your score down. You can at least tell them thank you.
It's way too easy to be nice.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it is.
Amen.
I've struggled with it all
That's
my
my
life.
that's my Hallmark card moment.
I like that.
I've struggled with it all my
That's
life.
my
but,
T-shirt.
But no, seriously, girls, thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Thank you for having us.
appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Thank you. Congratulations to both of you, not just on your shooting, but also on your outlook on life in this game.
Very
because it's very good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
people
Yes.
should listen and learn.
Absolutely, and y'all are welcome anytime on the Dead Pair, seriously.
But we have to go to Ohio State.
No.
Personally, I don't think I'm going to make that.
Oh, jeez. But no, girls, sincerely, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Yep, thank you.
Well, David, let's get this wrapped up.
Sounds good. Do you want to do closing remarks or just end?
Yeah, let's talk real quick. We want to thank Kohler Arms for sponsoring this event and helping bring you. Thank you, girl. Appreciate it. Want to, like I said, thank Kohler Arms for bringing you all this event. They supported us through all this. Congratulations, man. And also, Elite Shotguns, Fiocchi USA, Atlas Traps, Taconic Distilleries, Odo Pro Technologies, RE Ranger. Who am I forgetting here? Come on, Ben. You know the list.
I
No,
do.
you
but I
don't.
was,
No, you don't. No, you don't. Let me just
You
continue.
said Kohler, correct?
I did thank Kohler. Vero Beach, Play Shooting, Don Grant, Mental Training, Rhino Chokes, and of course Score Chaser, which all of us use. None of us could sign up for tournaments without Casey and her amazing staff, and they have been on it this weekend. I've seen them have to deal with some major issues, people forgetting to sign up for things, wrong times, people miss stuff, and they were able to get them shuffled around and get them out there. So hats off to them. Hats off to everybody here at Northbrook. We also want to thank Julia Gilman with HOA Shooting Sports. She has been amazing in helping us organize all of this chaos. Trust me, if you saw the amount of cables David has laying down here, that's nothing compared to his schedule, okay? And this guy, literally 2 minutes.
I would say that this is more organized than my schedule.
Okay, listen, everybody, it's not on camera. I just want you all to see it, okay? So,
Yeah. Well, and you were mentioning Julia. She is at all places at the same time.
Yes.
Every time I turn the corner, I'm like, I just saw you over there. And
Yes.
Now you're over here. She was helping us gather our guests tonight.
Yep.
I kept seeing her over the corner where they were taking podium photos, and so yeah, tireless and the real reason that everything was so successful. We shouted out the Seibert family earlier. Just.
well, hey,
Those
listen.
guys, those guys were doing all the work. I mean, not just sitting on the top of the heap. They were down there in the dirt and in the mud. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to thank you, Ben, and you, David. I appreciate all your help.
Of course.
We started with an idea and kind of ran, well, again, Julia's idea, and kind of ran with it, and never thought we'd be able to do this the way we're doing it, and we've got plans to make it bigger and better for next year. We don't know all the shoots we're going to be at yet. We'll announce that when we do. But we are gonna clean things up a little bit. I know the audio is choppy here and there, and the video may be choppy. We're dealing with cell service and Wi-Fi.
A lot of people on one tower.
A lot of people on one tower, but we're going to cure that for next year. We got